Hello all, myself Mushida Yasmin, Assistant Professor from SNS College of Physiotherapy. Today's topic is bone and its classification, which is a fundamental topic in the subject anatomy. To start with the introduction about the skeletal system, bone is a specialized connective tissue which forms the entire skeletal system that serves as a framework for the human body. The adult human body has 206 bone and the skeletal system provides various functions which are essential for our body. The major functions of the bone are it provides a support and protection for the vital internal organs, and with the help of the muscles attached to the bone, bones produce movements, and the bone serve as a major mineral storage reservoir for the calcium and phosphorus, and it serves a very essential function called hemoptysis, which is a blood cell production, and the yellow marrow of the bone serves as a fat storage reservoir. These are the major functions of the bones. The composition of the bone include matrix and cells. Matrix composed of organic and inorganic components. Organic components are collagen, mucopolysaccharides and non-collagenous proteins. Inorganic components are calcium and phosphorus. The cells which are in the bones are osteoprogenitor, osteocyte, osteoblast and osteoclast. The two types of the bone tissue are compact bone and spongy bone. Compact bone is harder in nature in comparison with the spongy bone. Spongy bone is somewhat lesser harder in nature in comparison with the compact bone. The compact bone forms the outline of the bone and the spongy bone forms the internal structure of the bone. The classification of the bone is based upon the shapes of the bone and location where it is present and how the bone was developed. So these are the three basic classification of the bone. To start with the classification based on the shape, the first classification, the bone is a long bones. Long bones are longer in nature than they are wide. The picture you can see a long bone with the two ends, upper end and lower end, which is called as epiphysis, and the middle end, the middle shaft part is called as a diaphysis. Examples of the long bone are thigh bone, arm bone, leg bone like femur, humerus, tibia, fibula, ulna, radius. In this picture, you can see here the red color markings are the long bones of the human body. The next classification is a short bones. Short bones are cube shaped, which is basically for the stability than the mobility, with the limited movements available in the short bone. Examples are the bones which present in the wrist and the ankle, which are called as carpal bones and tarsal bones. So the picture shows you the clear marking of the short bones which are present in the wrist and in the ankle. The next classification is flat bone. Flat bone are thin and flattened in nature, often curved in nature. It provides protection and surface for the muscle attachment. Examples are skull bones, ribs, scapula and sternum. The picture shows you the colorings which marks the flat bones in the body. The next classification is about irregular bone. Irregular bones are complex shaped bones which doesn't have any clear structure or a shape to define. Examples are vertebrae, hip bone which is called as pelvis and the sphenoid bone in the skull. This picture also shows you clearly the markings of the irregular bones. The next classification is a sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone is smaller in nature and a round bones which is embedded in the tendons. These bones are mainly made up of to reduce the friction and modify the pressure in the joints. Example, classically patella, which is called as a kneecap. You can see this picture shows you the knee joint, and the anterior to the knee joint there is a smaller bone called the patella. That is a sesamoid bone. The next classification based on the shape is pneumatic bone. Pneumatic bones are bones which contains air filled space. That is called as pneumatic bones. Examples for the pneumatic bones are frontal bone, maxilla, and ethmoid. So this is the frontal bone, the maxilla, and the ethmoid bone. So these are the air filling spaces. The next is the accessory bone, which is supernumerary bone. So this is an extra bone that may develop to some of the person. For example, Vomarian bone in the skull sutures and accessory navicular bone. So this Vomarian bone in the skull sutures differ from the normal skull sutures. So this picture shows the clear Vomarian bone which may develop in some individual as an extra bone. Next classification is based on where the bone is located. According to that, the bones are classified into axial bone and appendicular bones. So the axial skeleton includes 80 bones, which includes skull, vertebral column, this one, and the vertebral column and the rib cage. So this serves as a major function called protection of vital organs. The next classification is the appendicular skeleton. So in this picture, the red color marking shows all the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton composed of 126 bone, which includes upper limb, lower limb. Upper limb is formed from shoulder girdle and lower limb is formed from the pelvic girdle. So this is the appendicular skeleton. Next classification is based upon how the bone was developed. So according to the type of ossification, the ossification is divided into primary ossification and secondary ossification. Primary ossification has intramembranous ossification and endochondrial ossification. Secondary ossification occurs at an epiphyseal plate, which is influenced by hormones, growth hormone, thyroid hormone, and sex hormone. This picture shows the hyaline cartilage model, which is a basic model for the bone to form. Next, the periosteum will get formed. Next, the primary ossification center will be there. Next stage will be the secondary ossification center. The next stage will be the formation of the growth plate, and in the final stage there will be an end plate, and there forms the adult bone. To summarize about this topic, how the bone was classified. It was classified based on the shape, which provides insight into function and the structural role, and based on the development, which offers understanding of the growth and the formation, and based on the location, which indicates the anatomical position and the relationship. Thank you.